What's up? How y'all doing? My name is Joey, and I'm back on here again. And I come here to speak about the Nottoway plantation in Louisiana. I am analytical. I'm very analytical, and I love knowledge. So you can really call me maybe a gangster nerd or whatever. Because one thing about me, I love knowledge. Because I know knowledge is power. So I was looking at a documentary on the Nottoway plantation, and I learned a lot of interesting things. I'm gonna get off here, and I'm most likely gonna look at some more of the Nottoway plantation. Because one thing about when I was in school, I felt the need of they to show us videos of slavery, and I don't want the one in the class why the hell they showing all that? Why they showing this shit for? I couldn't stand to see that, the slaves beating and fire hoses and dogs and animals and shit attacking them and shit. I couldn't stand that shit. It was something about that shit. Like that shit as a little child, that shit built the anger and the confusion inside of me young. Why is they doing this to people? I'm sitting back as a child why is they doing this to these folks? What them folk could have did so wrong for that shit to happen? But I'm a person that I believe in you reap what you sow. What goes around comes around. If you're doing something to somebody, I believe that you should get dealt with for that. Period. But when I found out that they were just slaves, just getting whipped for no reason on plantations and shit, I said, okay. So they doing this shit for no reason to these folks. Okay. So imagine the amount of karma they're gonna receive for what they done did to these folks. And that bring me back to the Nottoway plantation. This is a place where they have weddings and shit. They celebrating it now, 60 rooms. Dining room, very nice. Everything look good on the inside. But Joe came to tell y'all it ain't about always what look good on the outside. Because inside that plantation, inside that house or that plantation or whatever, you still got to deal with the spirits that have been murdered and tortured in there. So even if you in your house right now and you take somebody's life in that house, the physical vessel can die, but that spirit gonna be forever. Spirit, the spirit is energy. Energy just transform from one thing to another. So that energy ain't gonna never die. So it all come back to it always come back to the basis. Shit, was it necessary? Okay, you done took the physical vessel, but that spirit gonna live on. That's energy, that don't die. So within Nottoway plantation, imagine how many spirits and souls that these people see in there that have been tortured and been taken away on a physical scale. Yeah, that place haunted. So yes, it's a possibility that place could have been haunted, but one of the ancestors done came back and, one of those spirits done did something. One of those spirits done, struck some fire and, lit that place up. God, ain't nothing but, come on, ain't nothing but blood. Ain't nothing but blood on that place. There's blood in that place. There's people who died in that place and they wasn't satisfied. But this situation is all over the news, and I just really learned what was the name of the plantation. I did another video, but I didn't know the name of the plantation at the time. But it called the Nottoway Plantation, and I'm gonna keep doing my research on that place because Louisiana and New Orleans, they got the voodoo. You know, there's a place that they had that record that high in voodoo and all that. And I think Louisiana, the ancestors and shit like that now, ain't nothing to fuck with. I wouldn't be surprised if some more goddamn pop up like that. And then they were close to the Mississippi River. They can see the Mississippi River from the plantation. I wouldn't be surprised if some more shit, you know, come up, some more plantation come up. Cause like, as people, my people tired of this shit. Not only are we tired of this shit, you know, the ancestors and all that, they don't forget, they didn't forget what was done to them. And you got some people that, you know, the other race saying things like, oh, this is a tragedy that this happened. Shit, it's a tragedy for them. Not for people who got no, not for my type of, not for my people. So a lot of people celebrating that shit and shit like that. I just want them to say, like, the celebration and all that cool, but just hold on for a minute. Hold on for a minute. Because there was a big deal that it happened to one of the largest plantations in America. That's a big deal. But I'm looking at the spirit. I look at the spiritual aspect of everything, though. So I want to know, like, if this keep happening, it's already a shift happening in the you know, in the cosmically and universally. So I wouldn't be surprised if one of them spirits came, one of the ancestors came and turned some shit upside down to cause a whole ruckus, a whole explosion in that mall. I wouldn't be surprised. In the state of Louisiana too, boy, were they heavy in voodoo and spirits and all this stuff? And voodoo ain't even bad. That was something that was taught to a lot of us, make us try to spook us, saying that it was bad, it was evil. Voodoo could be used for good, you know what I'm saying? Good purposes to destroy a certain type of evil. But that place, man, that place like, that place got tore from the rooter to the tutor, dog. That was a massive fire, man, cause I was just thinking about a house, a whole house, a mansion with like 64 rooms, all of that acre and that land. And the intensity of the fire kind of provoking me to make me think like, yeah, this had to be something spiritual. This had to be something that will come in, you know, coming from something for it to be of that massive, the massiveness of that fire, man. That wasn't no average fire, man. Just seeing the cameras, you know. Just seeing the cameras on that shit, that wasn't no regular fire. And I'm a person, I want to know what happened in history. I never heard of no Nottoway Plantation, like dead serious. I'm from Georgia, you know, Louisiana and Georgia like this, like sit close like this. And I never heard of no plantation called no Nottoway. But it's good to get news, man, even though news might pop across your timeline about something that you don't have no clue about. I think that's a good thing, you know, for us, because that shit bring knowledge. Because once I see something I don't know about it, I'm like, let me check this out. I never heard it before. Let me look at that. I'm very analytical, and once I do that and take names and shit like that, I go to goddamn, you know, doing my research. That's just in my nature. But all I can say, man, what a time to be alive, man, to see, a lot of corruption getting ran to the ground, a lot of hate, a lot of envy, all that type of stuff. That shit, like, what a time to be alive. Like I told you, shit happening jet speed. We just had the shit was going on with Trump. He talking about the economy and all that shit. The Chinese, the Chinese attacking the beauty supply and the nail salon. Section 8. All things of that nature. The truckers. You turn around, like every time you turn around, it's something, man. Now, I see the sun was going on with this plantation. So it's a shift that happening right now. I just want y'all to be very aware of that, because I am myself. I know good gotta suffer, good suffer, but evil suffer too. The suffer that you get for being evil, it might hit a little harder than just somebody who suffer for being a good person or trying to be the best they can. And you gotta realize that. Everything that we worship and praise on this realm here, man, you gotta tell yourself, when I look at that plantation, it reminds me, anything that you cherish on this earth, on this third dimensional realm, what if it get burnt to the ground one day? Things that people goddamn look forward to going to. Material, things. I wouldn't be mad if this shit get burnt to the ground. Because at the end of the day, it's an illusion, and the things that these people kill about these third dimensional things. People kill about these things that we worship. It don't mean nothing at the end of the day, because when it's your time to leave this world, them things you can't take none with you. So the best thing you can do is just live the life to your ability. Try to treat people how you want to be treated, and just stay cool, calm, and collected. And just watch. I'm just watching this shit from afar, y'all. I don't want to be in the mix. I'm just gonna be here watching from afar and just seeing how this shit take place, because this shit about over with, man. Biggest plantation in Louisiana. Not the second biggest. I'm talking about in the United States. Not the second biggest. The biggest 64-room mansion. Historic shit all in that in that house. People been reporting to seeing spirits. People that done died in that house. It's a spirit. They said a lady will come in the house and rub. If a woman in there and they got long hair, they will go to rubbing on. The spirit will go to rubbing on your head if you got long hair. So all I want to say, just pay attention to this shit. Because, shit crumbling all across the board, man. East, west, south, and north. Shit is crumbling. That plantation was a big historic plantation. I'm going to look at some more in that documentary, but I just want to say, man, y'all have a good one, man. I'm out.